like it.
You made it?
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's very funny because my new wardrobe, whenever I'm on stream now, it's just like, hey, I crocheted a new shirt for Orchidea.
That's awesome.
You're gonna have an entire Orchidea wardrobe. Then you're gonna have to market it someday when we're like, well known and stuff. The Orchidea line of clothing.
Yeah, it
Market
says
it
we're
on your
streaming.
Orchid pants.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
We made it. Did we? Did we really? No, that's too bright.
Doing.
I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore.
It looks like
doing
we're
the best we
streaming.
can.
It looks like we're streaming, and it looks lovely. Well done, Shauna. Yay, Shauna!
Yay! Can everybody
Amazing.
hear us?
Yes, I
I'm
see
going to
it.
mute
Wait,
me, and
see
then I
it.
will let you know.
Okay,
I'm
I'm gonna
muting
mute
something.
myself as well, and let me know if people can still hear everyone else talking. Everyone else is talking? Talk, guys.
We are good. You can hear us perfectly fine.
Yes.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yay!
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, there we are.
No,
New
only
tech buds.
us.
What, we've got a new bot and everything. Look at our pretty bot.
I can't see the bot. I want to see the bot.
I can see the
You're in
bot
the chat.
because I got OBS set up and it
You're on the
has
chat.
gives me the chat right there so I can actually see it the whole time. Woo! And you can't see my cursor either. Oh, I'm so happy right now.
Everyone, make sure if you're on the stream, just mute it. So I can hear. We good? Yay! Go team, go!
Hey. Nice.
Sweet. All right. Love how confused Alex looks on the stream right now.
I'm trying to fix my lighting.
Mine's bad, but
It's it looks different on the stream,
Sorry.
Yeah,
than
mine's a little more
on my
saturated.
camera. It's so weird.
Yeah, mine's a little more saturated in the stream.
You all look wonderful. Here, let's play games. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Hello, our viewers. First of all, tonight I would like to say as a big thank you to the DMBlair.com, who has a lot of wonderful things that you can use for your D&D campaigns. They've got traps, they've got NPCs, they've got campaigns, all kinds of things. Go check out their page. I will be using a little bit of their stuff today. Hopefully, we will see how this goes.
Yay!
All right.
Woo!
And now, back to the world of the Alchemarchy. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. When last we left our intrepid band, they were at the camp of a hidden rebellion out in the swampy ruins to the south of Miscula's place. They had seen the green light on the horizon, but they had not witnessed what it can do yet. So they really didn't have any idea that was even something that they needed to pay attention to. What they are there for is to find a library. Our adventurers found out. When last we left, there was a bit of a commotion going on back at the wagon that Altana Darkness had gone and kind of snuck away from with the cleric group that she had used to belong to, so the components could be put in it and could travel more carefully. There had been a bit of a confrontation with Big Hell, who wanted to take the components out of the wagon so that the people who were doing the rebellion could see them and get a little bit more fired up for what they needed to do to take down the Alchemages. Our intrepid party, particularly Cross, Orchilea, and Aramiel, not too happy with that idea. And so, with a handy bit of sleight of hand and a little bit of charming personality, Orchilea convinced Big Hell that instead of fighting them, as seemed to be the case, to actually leave the wagon and leave the components in there, which Big Hell did, and has disappeared into the darkness, leaving Cross standing outside the wagon, Orchilea and Aramiel rather drunk inside the wagon with 7 of the 8 components, and the rest of you outside in the camp. What do you do next?
Oh my god. Honestly, I think she'll leave us alone for the next couple hours, because that's usually what happens when I really want that to happen.
Man, I'm great with taking a long rest. Well, that's just me.
Sleep sounds great.
Yeah, you guys haven't slept more than a few hours in the last 48.
Nope.
So,
And I am.
so just
And
saying.
I'm real drunk.
Of course.
Point of order. If we all fall asleep at the same time, I have a feeling other people may try to get into our little humble wagon abode for the time being.
Well,
I would like that to not happen.
Well,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, Mr. Crossman, Christopher, Christina, Christopher.
As the drunken orcs shouts out the back of the wagon. You were hiding, but
Is there still like the curtain thing there?
Oh, yes.
Like, okay,
Mhm.
so
it's been open.
just like pops his head in. It's just like, will you just shut the fuck up? We're trying to keep a low profile.
Anthony! Awesome! You, I volunteer to distribute. I'm gonna sit outside, and we're gonna take a nap.
Low profile while Penny's over there stuffing her face and spilling food everywhere and grabbing
She's
it.
the one.
like-
Everybody's seen you.
And you're not like.
But I don't have like shackles and stuff on, so you
Right,
could maybe
and-
play it off as just a very, very disfigured
person.
slave. I don't know. A lay person, exactly. I was cursed by a witch when I was 12.
All right, so Orkilia and Aramiel, you guys, the wagon's pretty crowded with 10 people in there.
I was
Or-
waiting for
so nine
Cross.
people in there.
Ross just like shakes his head and closes the curtain, and it's just like,
Is that a yes? I think that's a yes.
hey, a hand comes
I'll
back
take
through
that.
the curtain, and just it's like.
Definitely a yes.
That's a yes if I've ever seen one.
Right.
Okay, so Darkness was over talking to Eyes during this time.
Yeah, and I had left you and walked over to the wagon to find out what the altercation was,
Right.
and just witnessed Big Hell come out of the wagon and leave, and Cross and that whole thing, and he's just standing there, kind of like. Do you say anything to him?
Oh, to me, I say yes. I think because I've heard all this, and
Yeah.
and I say, all right, I better help Cross set up a watch schedule so these guys can sleep it off, and we can figure out what we're gonna do.
Okay, and Penny puts on makeup.
I stole it from one of the other, from one of the bandit peoples, and I don't know what it is. So it's like she's drawing on her face, like weird stuff, and they're trying to help her, and it's not working very well. It's like a child.
Okay, so Eyes and Altana, he's like, are they always like that?
My always with them is short. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's probably always in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I see that you are a cleric, Brynbran.
I'm a cleric of Brynbran.
It's not the goddess I maybe would have chosen, but we've been out here for a while. We have a lot of less adventurous people here who are perhaps a little more afraid and would maybe like you to come and offer them some comfort. I don't mean that kind, not that kind of comfort. I mean like, okay, good.
And Brynbran is able to comfort in all kinds of ways.
Great.
I would be happy to get to know the camp and your rebels.
Wonderful.
What comfort I can.
Wonderful. And you and yours are welcome to the food and the drink that we have here. We have some pretty decent hunters, so we haven't been suffering too much. And it's getting late. I know a lot of my people will want to sleep. We have some pretty sturdy watches going on. So if your group, I'm not sure what you guys would to call you. You don't seem like you're friends, but if your group would like to sleep, they can do so safely.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me go tell them.
Wonderful. And with that, Eyes Bidoof turns and heads back into the camp, and you see him gesturing to a couple of the men, including the one that you guys heard called Lanky, the rather heavy-set,
Mm-hmm.
dangerous-looking, potentially scholar. That they all kind of go off towards the campfire to do some conferring, and he leaves you and the rest of you guys to monitor yourselves, which is surprising considering you were just brought into a rebel camp. So,
Right.
yeah.
So, so I want to go back over to our wagon where I'm assuming Cross is still there with his finger flipping off Arkelia and Aramiel.
Yes, I've just been flipping her off for like a good 5 minutes. Just
I think it was happening at the same time. And now, right as we kick her off is right as I walk up. And
Flipped in with that finger.
called a jump cut. So I come and I say, all right, I think it's best that these guys sleep it off. I'm not sure. I think that I have an opportunity to go and get to know the camp a little better and what their intentions are and get us some more information about what's going on here. If you can take the first watch, I think that we're safe enough for them to sleep and you to watch and me to go do some scouting. And then maybe we can figure out what to do with these components.
That's the fucking God. That's the most sensible thing I feel like anyone said in the last. I can't even remember. Thank you. I'll sit. You do that. I'm just going to sit right here.
Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, Cross. There's a little sound at your back.
I swear to God, it's like you read my mind. Because I was going to be like, I should get the little
Baby.
The little guy some food or something. Just for the.
He's not a toddler. He's more like he's 6.
Okay, so he's not like.
Yeah, not
real
small.
Oh, I thought he was like, okay, so he's like, how tall would you say?
As a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
He's probably, comes up to your waist.
Okay, that's pretty, that's a big 6-year-old. All right, well.
Help.
That totally changed my entire view of this child. I thought he was like, how the hell did I get up? Did I tie him up, put it like a wrap on my back?
Well, a 6-year-olds they're still not that big. I mean,
and he's very emaciated.
And very emaciated, and he's an elf, which is already a little bit smaller. So.
All right.
So
okay,
anyway. Fine.
So I am for sheer comic relief, I am going to end funness. Is anybody eating some soup?
Penny is sitting at the fire. Penny is sitting at the fire, and people aren't really talking to you, but you have a number of people who are sitting around the fire with their soup, and they're just like watching you. Like they're not quite sure what to make of you. They're not really talking to you because you're not really talking to them, but they're watching you like they're trying to figure things out, figure you out. So yeah, there's a good probably 15 people around the fire with the soup.
Is it possible to, since I gotta watch the cart, to pull out my rope and lasso somebody's soup away from them?
They're in
without
just
them noticing.
You could do that, but you will spill the soup.
Yeah, how do you
Darn.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
can't just ask nicely. Just ask nicely.
Well, that means I have to leave the cart, and you both are completely on a with
Well, Penny
zero
is there.
ability to do anything. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Penny is there.
And
The soup.
if you
With a
look
big
at
bowl
her,
of soup.
she has a big bowl of soup, and she's been stealing everybody's bread. So she has like a pile of bread on her lap and
Aw.
soup right in front of her too, and she's just like But she's not eating the bread. She's just eating some of the soup, and then she's like stolen a couple other bowls, and she's got a couple bowls, and she takes a bite of the soup and puts a little spoonful in a bowl, and then another bowl, and then another bowl, and then a bite of soup, and then it does the same thing over and over again.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to take the proverbial child off of my back and kind of like sit him down in front, like next to me. And what does he do, or like in response to that?
As it says, he's actually when you go to pull him off of you, he clings a little bit, like he's holding on to you, like he's afraid, and you're going to keep him safe. And so he's holding on to you, like, don't put me down.
Okay.
He still hasn't spoken this whole time.
Hey! It's all right there, lad. It's gonna be all right. And kind of like try to still like not bring him away to like sit him down next to me, but kind of like just bring him around so that he can kind of like be like sit on my knee or like something like that.
Okay, and you're there by the wagon,
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the steps of the wagon.
Can I
Okay.
roll a perception to see if I see that happen?
Yes, you may. And yes, Cross, you are able to do that. The child will sit on your, but he's like leaning into. You know how a kid does when they're leaning into you, like comforting.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm actually going to be looking over at Penny, so if Penny's looking at me, like might meet eye contact, which is my goal.
Okay.
Okay, what did you roll, Shauna?
I rolled a 14 plus whatever my bonus is, which I have a. Give me 1 second, I can find it. Yep. Oh, yeah, fucking hell. Me too. Okay.
Yeah, I like your assistant here.
I know she's very nice. 19.
Okay. Yeah, you totally see Cross. He's kind of behind the wagon. You can see that that's where he is, and you can see that he has the elf child sitting on his knee.
Okay. I'm going to okay, Cross, you watch as Penny. Because she has so much stuff, there's no way she's going to be able to stand up. She does kind of this wall sit crab walk with her hands holding all of the bowls on her knees and her thighs and the bread up there too, and she's like using her elbows and just kind of like, I don't know if you want me to try and do it, but like this.
I can imagine. This is pretty great.
And with no shame at all, she hobbles like that over to you and hands the little child a bread and one of the bowls that she's been putting food in.
I mean, it's funny because that's exactly what like he wanted, but he just like he watches you do this whole like, or I'm assuming now I want to do it just because.
Just because it's so odd.
Well, like I
it is pretty odd.
It's fantastic. Just kind of like trying to hold back like just sheer laughter because it was, and he's just like takes it from you and it's just like, thanks, Penny, and just kind of goes about his own thing.
Penny's like, when you say thank you, she gets this big smile on her face, like that is the best compliment she's ever received, because she's like swells up and then hobble walks as best as she can to the back of the cart, unless you're there, and then like tries to get up the steps.
I thought I was sitting on the back of the cart.
Well, yeah, she's trying to get up the steps, but she's having a hard time because she can't lift her legs up that high with all this stuff on her. Her legs are her only table, okay? But she's like, and if you count the bowls that she has and the bread that she has, it's enough for everyone. Like she's like literally piled.
If she's still like, because Cross is sitting on the back of the cart, because that's the best way to make sure nobody gets in. you just kind of like see because you walk over, you hand it to him, and then you're trying to like make your way up the
It's
stairs.
not working,
in
exactly.
this like Zoidberg crab walk, you know, with your hands
Yeah,
holding stuff.
exactly.
And, like,
So it's
trying to-
like
and
her.
you just
She's
I'm
like
gonna make a strength check, but I want
trying
see if
to
I can
like
just, I want to see if I can just grab her by the back.
and pick her up.
Of like her. Is she still just wearing a sack?
Yep.
I don't remember what she's wearing anymore.
That's all I
it's just a
got.
burlap sack.
Okay, so I just grab her by the burlap sack and just kind of attempt to just pick her up onto the cart, like the back of the cart.
Okay. Roll me a strength check.
She's too busy. She like when you do that, she's so concerned about the food that she doesn't struggle, and she just like puts her knees as 90 degrees she can, and is like trying to not let the soup spill or anything.
So 15 plus 3, so 18.
18. Yeah, for that, she's not very heavy either. You can totally lift her. Since you're not taking her full weight, you're just kind of scooching. You can totally do that.
Okay, so I just kind of like just grab her and pick her up and put her on like the cart next to me, and then like open up the curtain for her because I'm assuming she's like trying to go feed everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So Penny, you've had some help to get up into the cart. You look into the cart. You see the 7 components that are still in there. They're kind of clustered up against the walls, looking very frightened after that altercation. And Aramiel and Orkelia are asleep on the floor in the middle of the cart.
Okay, I'm gonna. Who's closest to me?
Of the components, or
No, just of everyone.
okay. The teenage elf is the closest to the back of the cart, along with they went in the order of their chains.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, who's closest to me once I get into the cart?
The 2 other elves.
Okay. So Orkelia and Aramiel are farther back?
Right, because that's where the alcohol was.
Okay, makes sense. All right. I'm going to, continuing my kind of waddle, go over to them, and I'm just going to these aren't the ones that are blind, right?
Let me look at my thing. I think that one of the older elf is blind, and I think that the younger elf is not. But let me make sure.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, this is taking a moment.
Oh, no worries. Gives me time to plot shenanigans.
Indeed, yes. The older elf is blind.
Okay. Just to both of them. When I get close enough, I'm going to whisper as much as I can, food, and just try and get their attention. And with like one hand, trying not to drop anything, I'm going to very gently touch the blind one on the shoulder so as to not scare them. And the teenage elf, I'm going to hand one of the bowls and then a piece of bread. And then when the blind one, the older elf, acknowledges me any way he does or she does, I'm going to like take his or her hands and put the bowl in their hands and one hand and take the other hand. And I've been like cooling it off for a while and put their hand in it so they can touch it and see that it's food.
Okay. He lifts his head when he hears your voice, and kind of turns it in your direction. All 3 of the other elves besides you are male, just as a note.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And they both take the food. They still don't talk.
Yeah.
But they do grab it. You hear a very quiet voice from the other end of the little wagon there go, some of us would like some food too.
I just do this even though she can't see me. And like hobble back to the rest of them and just kind of start passing out the food to all of them, the to all of them, the bugbear, the kobold, which and I'm gonna get everyone else first, and then does the kobold need help eating?
It does, because it's missing both of its hands.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was the one that the travel from, the flight from the tower seemed to hurt the most because it was the most damaged.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the little cobalt does indeed need some help.
Okay. So before I help the kobold,
Actually, so does the Minotaur. He's also missing both of his
hands.
hands.
Okay. I'm gonna try, and before I get to that, I have 2 bowls of soup, one for Aramiel and one for Akelia, and some bread. And I'm gonna put the bread in the soup, and then put the bowls. Like, how are they sleeping? How are you guys asleep?
I think I am like passed out.
Drunkenly, we are.
Well, like, are you like,
I'm like,
think-
or are you on your side, or?
I kind of love the
I'm like,
idea that
my
we like
back
straight
is
up just like
arched.
passed out.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
Shoulder, shoulder.
Nice. Okay.
They
You
are
have
wonders of grace and dexterity.
drooling on myself. Yeah.
you now have. I'm gonna put their bowls of soup right on their chest because I don't want them to roll in it, and she's not the most experienced person realizing that if they move, it's going to fall off and spill everywhere anyway. But she doesn't think about that right now. So she puts it right here. As long as it's a flat surface.
Sounds perfect.
And then goes and will put herself as close to between the Minotaur and the Kobold as she can and just start helping both of them eat.
Okay.
As much as
All right.
she can with her one hand.
It's there because they kind of know you.
Mm-hmm.
The Minotaur is pretty calm about that. I mean, he's a Minotaur. He's not very neat about it.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
So the floor is starting to get spattered with soup, and the kobold just kind of cuddles into you now. That where they are in the chain means that for you to help both of them, you have to be kind of between them is the goblin and the hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to feed both of them, you'll have to kind of move back and forth a bit.
That's
or
fine.
You'll have to gather everybody around you while you wedge yourself between the goblin and the hobbit.
No, I'll go back and forth. I want everyone to be comfortable, and like the goblin has their food, the hobbit has their food, everybody's got their food. I just want to make sure that these two get their food too. And since, I half understand because I only have one hand, I want to help them. So I'm trying to be as helpful as I can. And the kobold, I'll like cuddle, and the Minotaur, as he spills, I'll take my sack, like little corner of the sack, and like wipe his mouth down and stuff, and do the same with the kobold. And like pet them when they let me. Like with the Minotaur, I take my stump at one point and just like scratch him right here as much as I can.
Cool. Well, and Antimog
Mm-hmm.
is blind, but she manages still to eat pretty gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
She sniffs the food first, like she's kind of testing it, and then
Yeah.
says, screw it, and starts eating it. And so while you finish feeding the rest of them, we'll go back out to the rest of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Cross, on the steps, are you helping the child eat, or are you just watching?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm kind of like, well, I guess we'll start from actually seeing what happens. So, I attempt to like help him eat. Like I start to like kind of like gesture him to the offer it to him because he's still like. So I kind of like try to just to see what he does, like if he takes it himself or if like I need to help him or something.
Right. He's actually just kind of staring at you for a moment until you bring the bread right up to his face.
Stop.
And then that seems to distract him for a moment, and he takes it and he begins to eat ravenously that piece of bread.
Oh.
Yeah, and this one,
I don't let him do it.
Yeah, because he was a child, he's actually got the fewest amount of scars that are visible on him right now. He still has all of his limbs. He hasn't been used up like some of the older ones have been. So for him, the eating it's messy because it's clear he doesn't understand anything about like
Sorry.
How
being
to
neat.
how eat.
Wait,
Yeah,
my
you know,
turn. God damn it, I
it's
don't
clear
know.
they must have that they're fed, you know, or they would be dead. But it's just like there's no thought of utensils or, you know, looking for a cup or anything like that.
If anything, Cross kind of just like chuckles to himself, like as he watches him, because I think he like, it kind of reminds him almost of himself when he was anytime when he was a young when he or like when he was that age and he'd
And
get
it's
living on the street and you know when he'd get a hold of food it was just like oh my god you better
got
eat it
food.
before you better eat it before somebody sees you with it and tries to take it from you kind of thing as well.
Okay. So he finishes most of the soup and then he does something you don't expect. He stops for a moment and then he looks at you and he kind of gestures the bowl kind of at your face, like he's going to try and feed you. Now it's awkward. He'll probably dump it over you if you let that happen, but he's trying to give that last little bit to you.
Darn, I'm like so good thing nobody can see him right now. Everybody's in the cart. It's great.
Actually, no, I'm just kidding.
Not honestly like I feel like Cross understands like what that means. Like he's not gonna be like, no, that's for you. He's like he understands like he wants to
That's what you do. You share.
yeah. And
Mhm.
so he but he kind of like just like for a brief teaching moment goes like this like like just one moment and goes into his own like pack and pulls out a spoon and
Okay.
actually like takes the last little bit and eats it but kind of like a teach almost like a this is how you do it
Yeah,
type of thing.
the elf child is just watching you like he clearly has no idea what that is. So it's like you're doing like magic or something, eating with a spoon.
That's so adorable. He just kind of like laughs and puts it back in, kind of like, but does it in a very like, I'm gonna kind of roll a sleight of hand to kind of like almost make it like disappear,
Like a
but
magic
flip it
trick.
away. Yeah.
Okay.
A 16 plus something ridiculous. 9.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
25.
you do. It's like, and it's gone. And the child is like, and he starts like patting your face, and you're like, where did it go? Where'd it go? Yep, exactly. What's in your hair?
He just kind of giggles and goes, you know, like maybe one day I'll tell you.
It still doesn't say any words. But you can tell he's kind of paying attention. Now, and that's an odd thing because in your hunting, you've always learned and you've always told in the elves that you've hunted have been really little more than animals in their intellect. The fact that he was puzzled by the disappearance of the spoon, you know, animals do share. So the fact that he was going to share that you can, but the puzzlement over the spoon and the looking at, and the way that he's watching you very intently doesn't really seem to speak to an animal style intelligence. And Penny's is definitely not an animal style intelligence. And so a little something to think about.
Okay, I got my. Oh my god. I think he just he almost kind of like looks at the because I don't know if he understands what I'm saying, but I don't think like but he's not gonna like assume that after seeing that not want to assume that he doesn't have any intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of like holds up the bowl and goes, you know, it's just like, you want any more? And he's like, you want any more? And he kind of like looks at it and he's like,
Yeah, there's only about
Like,
one.
like,
Yeah, there's like one bite left maybe, and he looks at you, and then looks at the bowl like, are you sure? Is this a trap? Is somebody gonna? Are you? What is the point of it? But he does eat. I mean, when you're hungry, you're hungry. He does eat that last little bit. You have a feeling that he could probably eat quite a bit more, but I mean, he's been starving, so probably a bad idea. After he eats the last little bite, you know how, well, maybe you don't know how. The way the children are, when there's the food coma thing, and they can go to sleep faster than any person you have ever seen in your life. And that is exactly what happens. It's like, okay, my stomach's full. Had a long day, and he falls asleep on your chest.
oh, I'm gonna go grab my child real quick.
Okay. And in the meantime,
Yes.
Wait,
oh,
your
there you
child?
go.
Is this the first time?
I'm imagining
This
it's
is the
the
first
child.
time.
I am
Yes.
actually I am the Mandalorian. It was just
Okay.
poof.
I
There
think
we
that's the first time he
There you
said
go.
my child, though. So just saying. Anyways,
Yep. Cool. All right. Altana. Aha. All right. So you see, as you go out of the wagon and you go to see the rest of the people there, that there's a lot more people than you initially thought. In the back, you see what might be another couple of campfires away from the one that you're at. Close enough, but that you can see that they're there, but not close enough that you can see any detail about who's around it unless you go over there. At the campfire that's right here, Penny was sitting at the fire hoarding food, while a ring of about 15 of these people from the refugees, or not refugees, of the resistance,
Rebel.
are gathered around the fire watching her, very puzzled as to what she's doing and to what she is.
Uh-huh.
But they are, and these ones around the fire, these look more like the doers. There's some warriors there, some people who have some skill.
Mhm.
But you can see, coming and going from the edges, whispering to each other and stuff, that not everybody is like that. A couple of the people that are going between the different fires look like they're probably just normal people, just normal
Mhm.
villagers and civilians.
Mhm. Okay, so as I can tell that eyes Ladouche at this point is moving away with the big guy, but I still, he asked me to give comfort of Brimbran. And so at this first fire, I stop at a few people and I check in with them, and I'm able to give them physical comforts like rubbing their temples or rubbing their feet or just listening. And I sort of just get, say I'm like, how can I offer the comfort of Bryn Bran? But I see him watching me, and I'm making my way towards the further camps. So each of the people I interact with, I'm trying to look at their reaction. I'm trying to perceive how much they're perceiving about us, and
Okay.
and I'm snooping.
Roll me an insight check.
18
18.
plus 5. 23.
All right, nice. That's a very good insight check. You get the sense that as you're going through the people who camped around this first fire and stuff, they're talking pretty freely.
Uh-huh.
Once again, a little surprising for resistant camp. You definitely get the sense that they are watching you very carefully, but not distrustfully, but also not trustfully. They're waiting to see what you do. But there's a lot of anger in this camp that is expressed. A lot of, when those alchemages get taken down, I'm gonna, cut off their heads and pissing their necks, and another guy is about, well, I'm going to take all of those fancy, things that they've got, and we're gonna give them to the pigs, and
Mhm.
so as you go on, you get a sense of real anger, real
Injustice.
well, not even injustice, because the alchemages, which better than most of the people in the group, are good and bad, and they're very powerful, and so these people, just with what they have right here, couldn't take them on. So the fact that they're building that anger and that hatred and stuff without anything that you can see that gives them an ability to take out an alchemage is kind of, it's disturbing.
Mhm.
Plus, anger, when it's thwarted, often redirects.
Right.
So that could, but it's a rebellion. They need to be angry too. And so there's a sense of, there's a little bit of powder keg underneath all of this. It's not at the tipping point yet. This is still a fairly new resistance. You definitely get that information, when they talk about, it's only been around for just maybe a decade. That's not very long in the ultimate scheme of things. But as you move away from that fire back into the dark, you notice that there's a lot of figures in the dark. Roll me a perception check.
It's a 19 plus 5, right?
Nice.
Perception. Yep. 24.
Okay. You'll notice that there are a lot of figures in the dark that seem to be watch or guards of some sort. And some of them seem to be watching out into the swamp, and some of them seem to be watching in towards not just the camp where you guys are at, but all the camps.
Each other. So I'm sensing that they're watching each other still.
Yes, absolutely. And then when you get back to that, the closest far fire, you see that a lot of the people around there, there's probably 30 people at that fire, and they're mostly families, villagers, people who are not really tremendously capable of fighting, but they're there. And the way that they're talking is very similar, although a bit less aggressive than, to the people talking at the front fire. They're angry too. Now, why each of them is angry, you don't know, but they're angry. They're angry at the status quo. They don't feel that it's right. And that's not because they're magical people or they're not magical people. There must be other things going on there. At one point, you can hear, there's a few kids crying. There is also soup at this fire. All of these soups are very seafood based, which might indicate that this part of the swamp has some of the water from the ocean coming up.
Right.
And one of the people is like, "Hello, miss? You're a holy woman, aren't you, Brimbran?"
A cleric of Brinran. How can I bring you comfort?
Well, I don't serve Brimbran. I actually say my prayers to Manon, but the gods. It'd be nice to know they're on our side. It'd be nice to know that they still love us. Could you come and talk to us for a bit?
Of course, of course. Tell me, what brings you to this camp? What brings you to the people of the Resistance?
Oh, well, for those who live in the temples, it's not like this. But for all of us that don't, we're not even considered people, really. We're just, they take our crops, they take our things. We don't get paid the way we should. They say, "Boo, we got to jump." I don't like it. They don't like it. We'd like to have a future for ourselves, for our kids. Here, come here, meet my kids.
Let me meet your kids.
And the woman calls up, and there's like 7 kids. And then this one is Manon. We named him for the god. Hopefully the god knows that, he's not as smart as he should be, but That's all right. And then this one, she goes through the names of all 7 children, and they're all just watching you, because like you are the most fascinating, strange bird they've ever seen in their life. One of the kids comes up, and your very fine clerical robes just like touches them for just a second to see how soft the fabric is, and it's like, And the other was like one of the daughters who looks like she's probably about 13, 14. And she's like looking around at you, and you, after a moment, you realize that she's trying to figure out how you did your hair.
Mhm.
Some things just never change. And but you're definitely kind of the strange exotic
Right.
thing that they never seen before, really, or not for a very long time. And soon people start gathering around you and listening to you, and you end up kind of the center of attention of 30 families.
And I tell them, I say to the children, the gods all give different comforts. The gods all have different strengths, as do you. And the one that is caressing my robes, I say to her, do you like it? Does that feel good? Brynbrand wants you to feel good. And to the one that she called Manon, who she said he wasn't very smart, I said, but Manon doesn't care. What is it that you're good at? I can't wait for you to find out. I can't wait for you to discover what it is that you bring to the gods. And then I say to them, sort of collectively, that what the alchemages do is not necessarily the will of the gods. Maybe. And I believe that all of you can find your connection to the gods that can guide you to what is right.
And that, when you say those words, there's like a gasp from, randomly scattered through the crowd of people, like they never thought about that. And you get the feeling, and one woman starts crying, that they thought they were damned for going against the alchemages, because of course that's what the current government is teaching, is that they have the favor of the gods, and that's why they're in power. And that news, and so they draw you in, and you notice that more people are coming from the other camp, as somebody's like clearly one, and before long you've got a good 60 people around you that are just listening to you speak and talking with you, and they make sure you have food. At one point in the evening, somebody brings out a musical instrument and then plays for a minute, and as it tips past what you think is probably midnight, finally everybody calms down, and sleep takes the camp, and sleep takes you. Cross, roll me a will save.
What the fuck?
Right? Like what?
Like, why am I rolling?
Sleep.
13 plus. Wait, so like a wisdom save?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 17.
Okay. You get very sleepy, but you don't actually go to sleep. But you do get very sleepy, and you notice that the people in the camp, that the talking that you hear back behind the wagon and stuff fades down around midnight, and it seems like everybody goes to sleep.
Was that like something trying? Do I know if I was trying to stay up, or if like something just tried to put me to sleep?
You don't know.
Did I feel like something, like that's what I'm saying, like was it just feeling tired, or
yeah, you got feeling just very tired, like how sometimes you're just sitting there, you're like, I just kind of need to lay down right now. That's how you felt. But after a moment, you shook it off.
Everything just like silenced at once. It wasn't just like a pittering out. It was like a suddenly just everyone.
No, it was a pittering out, but it was a pittering out over the course of about 20 minutes.
Do I need to make a check to see, like, because like I don't know if he like finds that weird. Like, would he like be unusual? How late is it?
It's midnight or around there. Yeah, so it's pretty late.
Do I see any guards still awake?
Roll me a perception check. I don't know why I even asked, but roll it anyway.
16, 6, 22.
Yes, you do see that there are guards awake.
Are they like patrolling around type of thing?
No, they're actually out past the only ones that you can really see where you're at. You don't see any like within the camp or the camps. What you see is some figures that are clearly guards that are patrolling out past the camp, kind of in the dark on the perimeters.
Okay, so it. I say then it doesn't thinks that was weird, but not nice that he sees guards around. He doesn't find he's just going to, since Altana hasn't come back to watch the cart. I mean, that's what he's doing. And so he's just going to continue to do that. Like, just kind of be like, that was weird. I usually, because he's used to being able to stay up for long periods of time. So for just all of a sudden to just be like, but maybe he's chalking it up to other things. But he's just like, no, like gotta stay awake. Kind of like slaps his face a little bit, and
yeah, and be aware that Cross now, by this point in time, you've been up for 48 hours because you never slept when they got their short rest the other night.
Oh, that's right. Does see, I'm really getting into it. Where is Altana?
You can't see her. She's not in the camp that's by you. You do see that there's fires of other camps out past that, but she's not at the one near you. She initially started there, but she's clearly not there anymore.
Does anybody? I peek in to see if there's anybody awake in the
cart?
Yeah.
I'm still awake.
No, you are not.
Well,
They're
Penny
all
would have
asleep.
moved out of the cart and
Oh, okay.
gone to sleep somewhere in the trees or
In
something.
this or something. Okay.
To do
So
her
when
meditation for 4 hours.
Okay. So you came out of the cart at what point? Right after you fed everybody, or?
Yeah, after everyone was fed and I made sure they were comfortable, Penny would have
Okay.
come out of the cart and probably, Cross, you probably would have seen her like skulking about, touching the ground, maybe trying to climb a tree. She's not sure what
Half.
she's doing.
You're a squirrel.
Oh, sweet!
Actually turned into a squirrel, or
Actually turned into squirrel. While you're watching her, while she was trying to climb a tree, and she just skittered up the tree and went to sleep.
Well, you think it's asleep,
Not-
but it's like, it's a weird pose for a squirrel.
Yeah.
They wouldn't normally sit like that. Normally that's a person thing. But she looks like she could either be asleep or in like a deep meditation because her eyes are still slightly open.
I mean, he's
that was-
seen her chained into multiple things since we got here, and it didn't seem to cause a problem. So he kind of just like watches this happen and just kind of, just like, well, that's what's happening, and just kind of, but like, at least I know where she is, and
There you go.
Well, seeing as he feels like he has no other choice, I think he's going to just attempt to continue staying up until Altana gets her ass back here, because that's what he said he'd do.
All right. Altana, around midnight, and as everybody's quieting down and going to sleep, you also need to roll me a will save or a wisdom save.
Oh dear, that one's a 2. Wisdom. Plus 5. 7.
You fall asleep too with everybody else.
Okay.
And it feels great.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Cross, you're going to be waiting for a little while.
After about 4 hours, Penny's gonna wake up, just so you know. Just
Okay.
survive.
Okay, Penny, when you wake up, 4 hours, Cross, roll me a Constitution save.
Actually, I don't have a bad constitution save. 16 plus 6, 22.
Okay. You are not fatigued. You are fatigued, but you are not going to take minuses yet. But
Okay.
the longer that you stay awake, you're going to have to start rolling that every hour. Okay.
So does he see, like, he's still like, where the, like, but he sees Penny wake up, right?
After
Yeah,
about
well,
4
suddenly-
hours, yes.
Yeah, suddenly you see the squirrel become Penny again, and she goes, "What?" and falls out of the tree. Luckily, she wasn't that high up in the first place, so.
So Cross is assuming that like Altana's like not, or really actually he's like, what the fuck? Because like the last thing she said to him was like, "Hey, we got a plan. Let's do this." And he's like, "Oh, thank God, somebody else." And then she's not here, and he's like, "What the fuck?" So I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he like thinks Penny is coherent enough to like be like, can you like, I really need to like close my eyes, like, because he probably I feel like he's someone who's done this enough to know where his own limits are and knows that he's like reaching them.
Okay. I'll let you decide if you want to try it. If you want to talk to her.
Can Penny roll a perception?
Yes.
May Penny, I should say. All right.
Actually, it would be more, if it's about Cross, it would be more of an insight.
Okay, it's an insight.
Okay.
Natural 20 with
Woo!
23.
All right. You notice that he is very tired. He's starting to nod off and then start and then nod off and then start up again. You know how that works.
Yeah. So Penny toddles over, even though she's not a toddler, but whatever. And it's going to poke you in the forehead like this. And
She
say,
attempts to poke me in the forehead, and I'm going to attempt to like grab her finger, like she's coming, and he's just to grab it, not to like do anything with it, but just please no, like.
Don't grab my finger. Okay.
just kidding.
So does she try to avoid it, or do I have to roll something for that?
Roll something.
Okay. I don't know if that's a.
That might be an
I think
indication
it'd
of
be
how
like
tired he is.
Dexterity versus dexterity or something.
Well, if it's a dexterity, that's a 12 plus 9.
Well, your face. Hold on, what's my dexterity? Damn it. Okay, you beat me. I got a 19.
Great.
She's gonna take her stump and go
You
around.
poke him, and he just grabs your finger, almost like with like dick. Like it's weird because like the rest of him just looks like he wouldn't have been able to do that, and then it's just boom, and he just kind of like looks up at you, and he's just like, Penny, I don't know where Altana went.
Sleep.
She's back. She's not back. I need to sleep. I really need to sleep. Can you, and he like lets go of her hand. He's like, can you sit here and watch everything? Just keep watch. Anything that's not me or Tana or anybody you know. You see them. You wake us up.
Cross. Why do you sound Russian when you're tired?
I don't know.
Sorry. She's learning, okay? No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. She can't. I just really wanted to.
It's really hard to do.
And I
go in
retired
and out
Irish.
of accents all the time.
No, I know. I
Name
just
is
couldn't resist. I thought it was
Krasnodolski.
great. I think it's great. Okay.
Because that's his actual accent, and he's been fucking with you all the whole time.
I knew it! My mind is
He's too
blown.
tired to maintain the other accent.
Okay.
Penny goes, "Mhm, mhm." And she's, with every fiber of her being, she tries to inject confidence into you and her ability to sit
Can I-
and stay.
Can I roll an
Like the
insight
cat.
check on that?
Yes.
Exactly like that. Look, I can sit and I can stay.
Oh, God damn it. I rolled a 2.
You are very tired, clearly.
2
And she
plus
looks
4.
like-
I mean, that's a 6.
I'm very, very. See, this is my. You can't see my face right now, but it would be furry and adorable with big eyes, just like
I
you.
thought you were a person now.
I am.
Oh.
Mhm.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
no, Cross, it seems good to you. You're very tired. She could be
So he just kind
dancing.
of like just looks at her and goes, "Okay," and just and just lies back, still sitting on the edge of the cart and just kind of like
Goes right to sleep.
yeah. And the child, I'm assuming, is still like tucked in, and he just
Yep. Okay. You go to sleep, and Penny,
Mhm, mhm.
you sit there on the edge of the cart for a while until just after dawn, when the camp starts stirring, and you still sit there, and everybody's still asleep.
Well,
Your people that you can see.
So real quick, before everybody starts to wake up, she This is very helpful, Cat. Rebel, come here, you. Come here. Sorry. Okay.
She's like, I want to play.
She is Penny's familiar. Yeah, go. There you go. Grumpy familiar. Really? Stop. Penny's going to, after a while, she gets a little bored. And she starts messing with Cross's hair, since it's there. So when he wakes up, he's going to see somebody. It's like when a kid tries to do your hair, but they don't know what they're doing. And his hair's probably going to be like this. And poofed. And then
And
she
stupid.
goes, yeah, exactly. And then she'll go and kind of wander around the camp just a little, just staying close by the wagon. Are there any blankets that are not currently being used laying around somewhere?
Yeah, there's a whole pile of them over by the campfire.
Perfect. She grabs a bunch of those. And, goes over and puts one over Cross and the child, takes a couple in the cart, puts them over to everybody, including Ramiel and Orkelia, trying not to dislodge the soup bowls that are still on them. And then if there's other people in the camp that are sleeping, that are on the ground, that don't have blankets, she'll take whatever's left and start covering them with blankets, and then looking around and drawing in the dirt and still being very perceptive as much as she can be. But looking at the trees, if there's night animals that she can see, she's gonna.
In other words, total ADD moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's enjoying
All right.
every moment. She's looking at the stars, at the moon if there is one. She's like,
Yeah, you hear
is a whole
owls
new
and
world.
night birds and crickets.
Yes. This is the first time she's been out in nature without. I mean, the last time there was still Cross there, so it wasn't the same. But everyone's asleep and it's still and it's quiet, and she's just feeling it. And just this overwhelming joy. Is the moon full right now, or is it not?
It
Do
is
we know?
not. It is not full moon.
Okay.
Not
Well,
yet.
yeah. I was just wondering if she could see it, but
She can see it. It's just not full.
what animals does she see?
You heard an owl. There's crickets, bugs, a frog or two. But most of the bigger animals are staying away from the camp because there's still a campfire and a lot of people.
Does she see an
Um,
owl?
Yeah, you heard one, and it was lands in a tree over there and stuff. It's nice, and all of a sudden you understand something that you didn't understand before because you took a quiet moment to really think and to feel, and you sit there and you realize that these animals that you've been turning into that you did that. You can do that. You're not sure how, you're not sure why, but you know that you can do that. And now you have access to your wild shape ability.
Woo!
That's awesome.
Okay, and we leave that part of the quiet. We leave Penny communing with the darkness and everybody else getting their long rest. And we go back to inside the wagon. Orkilia.
Yeah. Hi.
You smell something. You're warm. You're comfy. Your head hurts just a little bit. It's not bad. But you're warm, you're comfy, and you smell something that actually smells pretty delicious.
Awesome. I'm starving. Is there like a cold pizza we ordered last night? Is there like...
And you sit up, and the bowl that was on your chest rolls off.
No!
And
Bummer.
I rolled where it went. It actually does not roll into your face, so your face is not covered with soup. It does, however, roll off to the side and cover your whole arm in cold soup. And that wakes you up pretty fully. You can hear dawn birds singing, and you can hear crickets. You've been asleep the whole night.
Yes.
And you know what? For cold soup, when you're that hungry,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
it's fine. It's got a little extra salt in there, but it's fine.
Yeah. You'll notice that Aramiel is still asleep and snoring on the ground on the floor of the wagon next to you. The 7 components are also asleep. You've all been covered with rough blankets.
There's also on Ramiel's chest another bowl of unspilled soup.
All right.
You
well,
better not. You better not.
So I immediately go over to Ramia. And I
No
pick up
hesitation.
a bowl of soup. I love that I've got these props just readily available, apparently.
That's awesome.
And I look at it, I smell it, and I look down at him, and I'm like,
You owe me, buddy.
and I'll put it down next to him.
Okay.
And I may or may not put one of his fingers in the bowl.
All right.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
He's still asleep. Do you try to wake him up or leave him there?
Nah,
Nah.
I didn't
Okay.
want to be awake, but here we are.
Yep. You do hear dawn sounds, birds and stuff. The camp is very quiet outside.
How's my head?
It only hurts a little bit. I mean, you are an orc, and that's one of their benefits. Hangovers, not so much a thing.
Great, because I know we drank 99,000 bottles of beer.
On the wall. Yeah, and you did last night too.
Okay, well, if everybody's still asleep, I will, as quietly as possible, kind of slink out of the
doorway of the wagon.
Because I think maybe the next thought as I put the bowl down is like, oh shit, we left Cross out there all night.
Yeah.
Maybe check on him. So
Okay, so
Okay.
you
Yeah.
slink out of the wagon, and you're struck by the sight of Cross, kind of splayed out across the stairs there, very asleep, cuddling, and he's been covered with a blanket too, cuddling the child. The child is also very sound asleep. There's an empty bowl, kind of, skiwampus on the steps next to him, and there you go.
it is
It is
literally
his.
everything in her power not to just kick him.
His
Somebody's
hair
supposed to be on watch.
his hair also is a horrible mess, and it looks like something went and had made a nest out of it. Mhm.
Beautiful. All right. Well, whatever I couldn't, because you can't lick your elbow. Whatever I couldn't get off of my arm, pull it off and put it on my hand and just smear it on his face real quick.
Okay. Cross.
I'm not trying to wake him up in any way.
But
Just-
touching him, because he is what he is, that may very well wake him. So Cross needs to roll. We'll say it.
On that one. On that one.
An insight. Let's see if he wakes up. See if he figures out things are changing.
7 plus insight. So a total of 12.
Okay, he doesn't wake up. He was that tired. But then you know that when you guys were sleeping for your short rest, Cross wasn't asleep. He was off fighting Big Al. So pretty tired. Anyway, but you also see Penny out there, you know, and she's standing kind of in the middle of the camp, just standing, wide awake, looking at everything, looking actually really quite happy. You do not see Altana. You do not see Eyes or any of those people. You do see a number of sleeping people that were at the camp yesterday that are asleep around this campfire.
Penny, what are you doing? Get over here. Get over here. No, that.
She points at the sunrise.
And I'll walk over to her and just be like, "You can't be out on your own."
Ooh. Yeah, no, that's pretty. That's pretty you.
Yeah, the sun rises over the ruins. Actually, these foreboding ruins are silhouetted and rimmed in golden light as the sun comes up over the water of the swamp. It's actually kind of nice. You can hear frogs, crickets starting to quiet down, and the frogs are starting to quiet up.
What?
And then Penny goes like this. And poof, she turns into a dog. And the dog's like wiggling in the most excited dog manner. The tail is flapping everywhere, and she jumps up on you and puts her paws on your shoulder, and she's like,
Okay. So, lick nose if correct. You can do it on cue.
wiggle, 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 wiggle. She goes down and like just hops around. She's so excited.
It's going to be so much more useful than the randomness.
Then she turns back into herself and she's like,
It's like it looks like big claps, but it's like golf clap level.
yeah, you're
Just
like,
so I don't wake up the camp.
you're like,
Okay. Mark one wild shape off for the day.
done. Worth
Nice.
it.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I don't know how to do that. Well, I don't know how to do a lot of things. But like, hey, we already knew you were like super magic. That's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, her hideous and scarred face screws up into a big smile that is still hideous, but also kind of charming. You'll notice the people around the fire are beginning to stir a little bit. Altana, you wake up over there at the fire. The second fire. And as people start stirring, Cross, you wake up. The camp gets busy. You can smell the ever-present, as happens with a camp of this many people. Food is like cooking all the time. There's some ladies and a couple of guys that gather around the big pots over the fires and are starting to cook everything as the dawn birds are beginning to wake up. And they keep looking at you guys, but nobody really talks to you yet because you're still new. Cross, the child is still there next to you. Yeah, there's soup on your face and your hair, it's kind of knotted, and there's a blanket on you. Clearly you were much more tired than you thought. Aramiel, your head hurts so fucking bad. You can barely open your eyes. Oh my god, there's light coming through a crack in the cabin. Oh my god.
Cross goes
That
back to sleep.
familiar. Cross goes back to sleep.
Can Ramiel do the same?
You can try.
Wait, how do I try?
No, you just say, I try to go back to sleep, and I tell you, no, your head hurts too much.
Womp.
I am suspicious that I didn't go to sleep completely of natural. But I don't see anything totally wrong, and so I'm making my way back. I know that I told Cross I'd be back, and I wasn't back.
Okay.
Headed back to the wagon.
Okay, you head back to the wagon. In that front camp, people are bustling just like that. You see Penny and Orkilia standing in the very center of the camp. They look like they're chatting. They look very, or at least Orkilia looks like she's kind of puzzled and happy, but Penny looks like she's just ecstatic and happy. You get around to the steps, and Cross is still kind of dozing on the stairs.
Cross, I try to wake him up. Hey.
All right.
Hey.
What? There's people awake.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I thought I was gonna do some work and be back, and I don't know what happened. Is everything all right?
Well, no thanks to you. Yes, everything's fine. Where were you?
I was out talking to the people. I was out doing Brand's work, and then
There's soup on my face.
I was asleep. I don't know.
Penny! Sorry, just never mind.
Ramiel, you hear that coming on, that chatting happening at the door of the wagon. You look around, the components are all waking up in their chains. They all have blankets, and are all clinging to them like those are very precious, precious things. You have a blanket on you. There's a blanket on you, and there's a bowl of soup right next to your head.
There's some
Yeah.
soup right on your face.
Can I immediately slam into the soup? Yeah, like I'm hungover. I got the hungover munchies. And like a slam the bowl
Absolutely
of soup.
slam it. Okay, head first, right into the soup.
Yeah,
The
100%,
components
just
are watching you, like, yeah, man, we know. But
Yeah.
you know, anybody else would probably be a little surprised. But yeah, no, it's like, and you know what?
Mhm.
It's pretty good, even cold.
Yeah.
It's kind of a seafood
I mean,
stew.
Yeah, it smelled delicious. And then with this headache, you hear commotion going outside of the tent. Not the tent.
The wagon, and
the wagon.
it hurts. It hurts.
And then throw the thing to the side. See Altana and Cross there bickering. They're like, "Hello, can we please stop talking at such a volume? I just can't." And throw the thing close back
You're
again.
awake!
Okay, well, Cross and Altana both know what that indicates.
Yeah.
That was a very hungover Aramiel.
He's.
Yeah.
It's like he's going to be useless for the next foreseeable future.
Bummer, dude. You should know better.
And then Ramiel goes promptly back to sleep.
Or he tries to. Okay, at this point,
Can
yeah.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you go back to sleep? Oh, absolutely.
Oh man, what's about to happen though?
You don't know. Go back to sleep.
So Cross, ignoring Aramiel, looks at Altana and is just like, I thought we had like, where were you?
Looking at me?
No,
Oh no, Altana. Sorry.
Are you talking to me?
No one's talking to you. I'm just kidding.
Go back to sleep.
I was in the camp. I was talking to people. I was doing a little work of Brand, and then sleep took me. I don't know what happened.
Everybody want breakfast? I think we should have some breakfast.
That voice comes floating over the wagon. Ramiel, you were just starting to drift off when you heard that.
Very
Oh,
loud
nice.
scream.
Of breakfast. Everybody wants
Food!
breakfast. You all heard
Yeah.
that just as Penny and Orkilia, you see Lanky and Eyes come striding back into the camp. It's clear that they've been up before everybody and they've been doing stuff.
Except for
They
me.
are covered in muck up to their chests, but they look really elated. They beeline for you two.
Can you remind
Huh?
us? Can you remind us who Lanky and?
Yes, Ice Bidoof is the leader of the resistance that you met just as you were running away from the last bit of the green light,
That was
and
Gabe.
he brought you here through the swamp to hopefully join his resistance and help these people take down the alchemages. He did tell you quite a bit about the fact that they are looking for a library, and while you guys were just getting into the camp last night and noticing Lanky is what he called him when he shouted up to this guy who's very big, heavy set guy, who, while being big and heavy set, spoke more like a scholar and talked about a door that they had found that they had been looking for, that seemed to make Eyes Bidoof get very excited. Now they're coming back into the camp very excited, just these two right now. And they come up to you, Orkilia and Penny, and he looks at you and says, "Wonderful. Where are your friends?"
Oh, most of them are over at the wagon. What are the chances you got some grub?
Talk first, grub next. And it's clear that his energy is just really very excited and stuff. So
Does not compute.
yeah, Eyes and Lanky head
Always.
over to the wagon, and they're gesturing for you guys to follow. Over at the wagon, they see Cross and Altana, and Eyes turns to Alpana and says, "Wonderful, just the person we're looking for. It is the door. It's the door. It's the door. It's the door. But we can't get it open."
Well, we know that you were looking for the ruins. Is it the door to the ruins? Is it the door to the library? To the library?
Best we can tell, it's the door to the library.
Hey, what door?
You guys, the resistance would owe you if you can get through that door. You want to try?
As long as we can do it at a low volume. That'll be
You
good.
hear the voice from inside. And he looks towards the wagon and he's like,
Door.
Oh yeah,
"Door, come on. Come with us."
really hungover paladin. This is why I'm saying we need food.
Okay, fine. Yes, please have food, have water, have drink. No, don't have drink. And then come on, Lanky's like, "But we got to do it before noon, because
Wait,
I
why?
think that thing was saying some things about noon, and the tide will get too high."
Oh,
But
bummer. Well, we can walk.
Why?
We can eat at the same time. At least I can.
Door?
Great, let's do it.
Great.
So Eyes and Lanky head for the fire,
Wait,
grab some food, assuming that you guys are following.
no,
Wait.
stop, everybody.
Do I remember them talking about this when I was listening last night?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Somebody has to stay and watch the wagon and the things in the wagon.
We're not taking it with us.
The thing is, Aramiel is the most useless person.
We're not leaving.
Right
our
now,
members
I
behind.
vote him. I'm done.
Oh,
Look,
I'll just-
they were talking about the door earlier. It's just.
We're not leaving a party member behind. No, we need somebody we can trust. So, Eyes, you seem
You don't
like
trust the paladin.
person in this group. Who would you suggest of your little campaign people to sit in front and not look in?
Oh, you're talking to Eyes?
Yeah.
Okay. To sit in the front and not look in at the components inside.
Yes.
They're all pretty good people, but people are curious. So, hey, Maud! He calls out, and One of the women leaves the campfire where she was helping serve up breakfast for the various waking refugees. Why do you say refugees? No, they're
Foreigners.
yeah. And she comes over. Yeah, boss. What do you want? He's like, we found the door. She's like, you found the door? He's like, yeah, we found the door, but we can't get in. And they have to help us, but they can't leave their wagon. So I need you to watch the wagon and not let anybody go inside and not let anybody come out. And except, what about lunch?
Well, we have to be back before noon, don't we?
No, we
We just have to be to the door before noon.
Empty.
Oh yeah, we'll be back. It'll be fine. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
we have to be
All
back.
right.
We'll be
But
back.
Might as well help
just in
today.
case it doesn't, since I'm a leader and I know what I'm doing, Maud, if we're not back by noon, I need you to put, how many are there?
9.
8. He looks at the child that's sitting on across his chest. Bowls of soup just inside the doorway, but don't look. Just don't look. She's like, oh, is it one of those magical curses? I hate those. Why do we do those? I mean, you'd think that people wouldn't make so many of those when they're going to hurt themselves too. It's like making knives that poke both ways. And she goes off onto this rant, and he's like, we're good. Let's go. And he turns in his frantic excitement and rushes past the, grabbing a little bowl of soup at the fire and off into the swamp. Do you guys follow?
Yep.
Yep.
I do a quick turn
I
to Penny
stumble.
though, and just
I don't know if I necessarily trust some dude who says I am a great leader. That's just kind of like immediate, nah.
Nah.
I follow, but
I will teach you.
I stumble
She's
and
gonna
run
end up
into a
thinking like
tree.
Orquídea.
Yeah, you end up falling face first into the swamp water, and that wakes you up really good. Yeah, you're very
I'm
awake.
awake.
That
Awake.
shocking, the shock of very cold water that can help a hangover go. Oh, you're in pain. You're not happy, but you are.
I'm up. I'm up.
You're up.
I'm up.
There you
I'm
go.
up, I'm
You
up.
guys keep going. He takes you through a path
We're
that
walking
is.
along
Hold on, because I technically still have the child on me. Or hold on, I have to decide what to do with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kind of
well,
important.
They've headed off, so you're gonna have to decide fairly quickly.
So if I try to take him, is he awake? First of all.
With all of the talking and you sitting up, yes, but he's not looking at anybody. He's just like hiding.
If I try to take him off, does he cling again?
Absolutely. You're the first safe thing he's seen in his entire life.
Besides me.
Jealous much? No, I'm just kidding.
Me? No.
Can I cross an action here? I feel like while Orquídea is saying, I don't trust a guy who says he's a great leader, and Cross is dealing with the child, I walked across and I say, this group wouldn't know a great leader if bitten in the ass. And this is the problem with the whole world right now. No one is leading. Can you lead these people with this child in your arms? Put the child in the wagon and let's go to the library.
The idea that Cross is our leader is no.
I didn't say Cross was our leader.
Cross is like now he's like, I'm not sure if this is a compliment or if
Or if it's like, oh, I'm so fucked right now.
Yeah, I may be drunk. Can I roll an insight check to hear this interlude hangoverly?
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
Hangoveredly, that's a word.
Hangoveredly here.
Shit. Jesus. We're gonna get this eventually, y'all.
Why are you rolling so many die?
Because they probably
Because it fell off of my desk. It bounced off of my thing. I rolled 4 times.
You rolled.
So we have like
His
the
dice are also
Listen.
hungover. It's okay.
No, literally, I rolled 3 nat 20s, but they all fell off the board. That's the point.
Because it wasn't meant to be.
Yep.
It's
So I
like
rolled a
triple
nat 8.
disadvantage because of hungoverness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And exactly. What would this be plus? Insight? Insight, maybe? No.
Perception,
So
if you're just trying to
Well,
hear
first you'd
it.
have to perceive it just to even hear it, and then you'd have to see if she's being honest.
So I got a perception of 11 total. Not super great because I'm
Not super good. Yeah, no, you don't hear it. Or you hear mumbling, but you're so focused on your own misery, you're not paying attention to it.
All right, so Cross hears this, and he like looks up at her, like kind of like with like a cockeyed, like he's trying to discern what she's saying.
Yeah, is she making fun of him or is this
Yeah,
like
is
serious?
this something? Is this actually?
Roll me an
is she
insight
being
check.
Serious. Ooh, 17 plus 4. So
All right. Altana, roll me a deception check. And then you can decide whether or not to tell him if he's right or not, depending on what you roll.
16. Hold on, where's my deception?
it's charisma based.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. 22.
All right. Do you want him to really understand how legitimate? Do you let him know? Are you making what you want him to know about whether or not you're making fun of him or you're serious?
I think I'm trying to persuade him. I'm saying, come on. All of our uses are best put. All of our skills are best put to use by going. So I'm trying to persuade him.
Okay.
I'm not so much bullshit, but
All right, Cross. She seems pretty legit. She's like, no, come on, you can do this, and we need you to do this. So.
Okay, so not that he wasn't going to try to, but like he's dealing with this clinging, child on him. But like, not that he wasn't going to like try to put him down and leave, but now he's just like, okay, kind of like looking at like this person being like, hey, you need to. Nobody else here seems to be like. It's kind of what's been going through his brain the whole time. Is like, why isn't anybody? Shut up, Orkelia, I see you.
The literal only reason we're all still together, but fine.
It's true. It's true.
So in a weird sense of like, she's kind of also stroking his ego, being like, "Hey, you gotta hold us together." Like,
in the name of Brimbrand, stroke that ego.
Stroke it good. But he looks at the child. He looks at the child, and he kind
I
of.
want to see that fan art.
Oh my god.
What?
I think I'm traumatized.
I don't want to know what that fan art looks like.
I don't want to see. Yeah, no, sorry, Cross.
Okay.
So he's kind of like almost trying to like to get the child, like kind of like puts him like in front of this. We'll use Grogu as an example. Kind of like to get him out like in front of him like this, like holding him like so, and.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, he's like reaching, like no, and he like with the most like serious, or not like serious, but like kind of like you can see it in his eyes. You need to stay here. It's not. I know. You think it's gonna be safer with me, but it's not. Not right now. You need to sit here. You need to stay here. And he pulls out almost like with the same I don't know if I need to roll a sleight of hand of this, but almost with kind of like the same
as what you put it away.
As what I put it away is he pulls out the
spoon.
The spoon.
Okay.
Again. And he hands it to him, and he gives it to him, and he says, "I'm gonna need this when I get back. So you better be here when I do."
And he's looking at you. You're not quite sure if he understood you or not, but when you hand over the spoon, he takes it and he's holding it and he's looking at you. He's just not even looking away from you. So you're not sure if he understood you or not because he seems to be non-vocal, at least at the moment. And but he's holding onto the spoon instead of reaching for you now.
Okay. And is there that lady still standing around?
Maud, yeah, she's standing right there.
Okay.
She's
And he
walking
looks.
back.
I'm gonna attempt to make a. It's gonna be an intimidation check, but not like intimidating as like I'm trying to be like terribly like I'm gonna hurt you, but intimidation as in I'm being very serious.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll that. A 19 plus, I think it's just charisma, plus 2.
Okay.
So 21. And
All right. Her
and
eyes get
look-
big and she kind of scrunches a little bit as you say what you're going to say.
And he just says, "Nothing's gonna happen to these people, right?"
There's people in there.
Ah, damn it!
That's this first sentence. She's like, of course not. I do what I said. They said to keep nobody from going in the wagon and just put soup
Well,
in
because
there.
she saw the child, so I mean, like, I guess,
Mhm.
so like nothing. I guess, you know, I guess then the. I didn't know if she knew. I just thought no one else was supposed to know. Okay, so if she doesn't know, then I'm gonna change that to like, because he's more very.
It's kind of
specific.
too late now because she said, "Oh, there's people."
Oh, okay.
You know, it was clear and stuff, and she's like, "Of course, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do." I'm assuming you're not taking the kid into the swamp. You know, I've got 6 of them.
That's what I'm referring to.
Not great for swamps.
Just nothing happens to the kid, all right?
Oh, I can definitely guarantee.
And so, all right, whatever, I believe her. And
I saw all that. I saw him, I saw his interaction with the spoon and comforting the kid, and I just look at him and nod and.
I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the.
He's pretending nobody's seeing this.
I'm not. Just let you know, probably not seeing that.
Yeah.
And he looks out and he sees LaDouche walking out into and just starts walking, grabs Aramiel. Did he get up from falling down?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of muddied and he has some soup on him, but he is there.
Okay, so he throws, pulls out like a handkerchief, throws it at Aramiel, says, "Clean yourself up, man, and let's. Are we going or not? Let's go. Come on."
Right. Did I have
be
soup
like-
on me? The soup
All
on me
right.
was next to me. Anyways, I'm a paladin. I should have been. I was taught etiquette. The soup was next to me when I consumed it.
Yeah.
I really hope that's Ramiel just like arguing to himself. I was
Yeah, me. As I'm
Yes, please. Oh.
as I'm
going-
looking at the self vomit on
And
myself.
and anybody who didn't, because like he very like looks at Aramiel specifically, throws the thing at him, just kind of like it's just like, dude, just stop being an embarrassment. You're a paladin, like come on. Throws it at him, like, clean yourself up, let's go, and then kind of just marches ahead of anybody. And anybody who's not following him, he just turns around. And so after seeing this, who isn't on their way?
I believe.
Actually ahead of you are Penny and Orkilia.
Okay,
They're actually ahead of you.
While you were doing
and-
that, Penny's finding a good stick.
cool.
And you and Altana were at the wagon that Aramiel was trying to leave and then had fallen into the muck and now is up and stumbling around with his hangover. So yeah, you and Altana are kind of at the back of the party right now.
Okay, so they're all already going.
Yeah.
Okay, so he scratched that. Just
He very
says
casually
that to
speeds up and
says
goes
that-
faster
says
than
that
everyone
to
else.
Aramiel, and then just starts heading for where everybody else went.
Okay, so as you guys start heading out into the swamp, following Lanky and Eyes, what you see is that the ruins have they've fallen in and they've tipped a little bit, but not very far. There doesn't seem like the ruins are actively sinking. It seems like they're just, some of the support blocks have fallen. But as such, there is what looks like a staircase that kind of goes down into the muck. And the silt and stuff, and that's what they seem to be following. You go out actually a good ways. It takes probably another 45 minutes from the camp for you to get to where they go. And as you're going, the swampy part is getting higher and higher, and you're starting to feel a little bit of a current around your feet. If you taste it, the water is a little bit more salty, so it's clear that there is an oceanic bit of incursion here.
Brackish. This would be
Yeah,
brackish
it's
water.
definitely brackish. Aramiel,
Yeah.
as you go a little further, you start feeling really sick to your stomach. Roll me a Constitution save.
Oh shit.
No.
Got an 18. Hang on. A nat 18. Hang on. Plus my number.
A nat 18, you said.
Listen.
You want to throw up. You want to throw up, but they're all watching you. You know they're watching you. That you really want to throw up, but they're watching you. And you manage, just with the sheer strength of will, to shove that urge down into your stomach, and you know that there's going to be a reckoning later, but not right now. And you keep going.
Dang Nexus.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. Yeah. Get into. You're going. Finally, the water is just about up to your chest when they stop. The ruins that you can really see that were poking up of the some sort of towering building. One of them looks like it was possibly domed at one point, but they're kind of behind you a little ways. Where you're at right now, it seems a little bit more wild. Yeah, you can see the stairs and blocks coming up out of the muck behind you, and trees growing off of crumbled walls, but it's not as soaring and high out of the water as it was back behind you where the camps are. At this point, Eyes turns to you and says, "Okay, here it is." And he points at the water below his feet.
Can I roll a perception check to see if I can see what he's even looking at?
Absolutely. All of you can roll a perception check.
Me too.
All of us.
Ooh. Ooh. 24.
Okay.
15.
20.
5 total.
Okay.
You're
Everybody
real
who rolled
drunk
a 15 or over can see that underneath the water, there is what looks like this was probably, the stairs go down and then they kind of open up out into what, I don't know, maybe an arena or something. But right below you in the water, where there's like a drop off, it gets really dark. And the place that he's gesturing is like there's a doorway that's right there that would have led out into this round open area. So yeah, it's underwater.
I have a couple questions. One, how did you find this? 2, how far down is it? 3, how are we supposed to breathe to get there? And 4, are we sure we're not gonna die?
Well, I mean, it is an ancient library that's been hidden for, 500 years. Isn't that right, Lanky? Lanky says, yeah, it's been hidden for 500 years. Used to be part of the college here. There's some links to fellow one we found, and this, if we want to find the answer, we got to find that library, and that library is in here. And I just know it. There was this book that we found. It was what was the title? It was by Montrose, and it was about how this college had been. And it talked about how the library, how you got to it and stuff, because it was a little bit of a test. and that it only let certain people inside. You had to earn your rights to get to this library because there was such valuable book. And he starts going on to this long thing. And the history of this was that it was built back in 293 and it starts going off onto this long history before our eyes, as he sees your eyes starting to glaze over. Just, well, no, that's enough, Lanky. Okay. But yeah, we've been looking for 10 years, and this is it. All of the things pan out. I mean, it fits with every clue we've ever found. We went and we tried to open it. We tried magic and it wouldn't open it. We tried tools and it wouldn't open it. And we just, maybe you guys can
Well, you
figure it
just said
out.
it. You just said it. You gotta earn your way in.
Sure.
Figure out what that is.
Well, Lanky speaks up. There's writings
Okay.
on the door.
Oh, great. Can you read underwater?
No. Well, yeah, actually, it's how we found it in the first place. And he pulls out what looks like a bucket.
He puts it
He puts it over his head. And you'll notice that in the front of the bucket, there's been something cut out. And and he goes like this, and a little magical force field goes across the bucket. And he starts walking down into the water with the bucket over his head.
Cool. So that
Looks
answers
an awful lot. Huh?
That answers
And right before he goes under the water, he's like, and he goes down.
For how we breathe.
Yeah, and he goes down under the water, and you see him. He doesn't go down very far under the water. It's not that far, but he goes around to where he's looking kind of back at whatever is right under your feet. And he's like gesturing wildly under the water. Bubbles come out, fish go flying off, into the thing. And after just a few moments, he comes back up and he says, as the water drips off of him, and it's like, that's how you do it.
Penny takes the bucket from him, puts it on her head, and walks into the water.
I was thinking the
Okay.
same
Doesn't know.
thing.
She's just like,
And yeah, you try. Okay, dexterity check to grapple check. Actually, it's a grapple check, Penny. If you're trying to avoid the grapple check, you're going to have to roll a dexterity check to avoid it.
Wait,
Okay.
can I also, because Penny doesn't know a lot of English, right?
No.
So
well, she
So, I mean,
understands
that makes-
more than she can say, but you don't know how much that is.
yeah, so it would be more intelligent to have somebody who knows, understandably by the entire crew, how much English there is potentially down there.
Common.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you
Okay.
say
The
English?
language is common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you say
So, like,
English?
Okay, I mean Elvish, Orcish,
Common.
whatever it is.
It would be common. It would be
The-
Oh,
common.
it's common.
Yeah.
The
Common.
common language of the humans and the orcs. Yeah.
Common. That's what I meant. Common, not English. Oramiel doesn't know. All right.
love you.
Auramiel would know. Everybody knows.
Amriel. Yeah.
Okay.
Rob doesn't know.
Okay.
Okay,
Rob
Orkilia, roll me
didn't
your
know.
grapple check.
Well, that's the thing. There is no check for grapple. Is it strength? Is it dexterity? Is it
It's roll to hit.
roll to hit? Thank you. Well, it was a 19 on the die.
Okay. You hit Penny. Penny, Orkilia grabs you. You can try to roll a dexterity check to evade it.
I rolled
or
the
you
dexterity
can-
check when you told me to.
Okay, and what was it?
A natural 20.
Okay.
Fucking kidding.
Oh.
All right.
One thing that could have beaten me.
It's the only thing that could have beaten you.
Shauna, roll me
Amazing.
percentile dice.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, not percentile dice. Percentile dice.
Somebody's going to have to save. Well, you don't have to save me. You can let me drown. It's fine.
I'm already trying to grab you.
What did you want me to
Don't
roll?
worry. You'll be
Hmm?
saved. There will be no problem.
What dice?
Percentile dice.
Cat, your butt is in my face. And you are very pretty, but I don't really appreciate your butt in
Okay,
my face.
Just
So yeah. So
yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to. Ah!
You'd roll two. You'd roll your the one with the zeros and the one that doesn't have the zeros.
Yeah.
Right, and that'll be it. It's from 0 to 100 is what that comes out to.
One day, Penny, you will get your memories back. You will be much better. 27.
Okay. All right. Looking at my critical fumble table, you reach out you actually handily evade her hand, but Orkilia, as you reach for her, that bag that she wears kind of gets caught around your hand, and you kind of go with her as she goes and dumps under the water.
I'm sorry.
Okay, and you both go into the water. What you see, Penny sees more clearly because she's wearing the bucket.
She's wearing the bucket.
Because she's wearing the bucket. Is that right under where, as you sink down another like 2-3 feet, so it's not real far, but you are definitely under the water. That behind you there is a doorway, and on the doorway is some beautiful carving in a language you don't really understand clearly. It might be Old Common, it might be something else.
Do I understand it?
But what you guys will need to do is roll me, and you can see it too, Orkilia. But it's harder for you to see it clearly. But I want you to roll me a perception check first, and then a performance check.
Well, that perception is 15 again.
18 for perception, performance. Oh God.
This is 17.
Natural 1.
Okay.
I'm a natural performer, man.
Okay, so what did you get, Orkilia?
It was a 15 for perception, 17 for performance.
Okay, and yours was for perception, Shauna?
I think it was 18 is what I said, and then natural 1 for the performance.
Okay. Shauna, what you were able to determine was that there's a couple of words there that you recognize, but only
Okay.
2. There's 2 words there that you recognize.
Okay.
Orkilia, you don't recognize any of the words. But there is something there that you recognize. It's fairly universal. And that is a musical staff. Okay, Shauna, the 2 words that you get that you understood there, because this language is familiar to you somehow, is hymn.
Him.
And fellowin.
Fellowin. Is fellowin familiar to me?
Yes.
And you mean him as in Hymn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Fellowin. I can't talk right now, right? My breath is still held.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to understand you anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I start trying to pull us up? Because we've seen the door, we've seen the stuff.
Absolutely can try to start pulling you guys up.
Right. Up we go.
So it's only been about, 10-15 seconds, unless you guys want to make it longer.
I was not expecting to get pulled underwater, so I didn't get a chance to go.
Yeah. So when Orkilia gets up to the top, she's like,
and she's like pulls Penny up, who's like
A little butt nugget.
okay. For the rest of you, they get pulled up. Penny still has the bucket on her head. Orkilia is sputtering because it was clear that she was not ready to go under.
It's in my nose.
What did you see? Says Ice. And then Mikey says, wait, are you okay?
How kind of you, Mikey. I like you.
I like take the bucket off one-handed, like.
You can't do that. You can't keep just running off without the people. The people need to stay together. That's how we lose the people. Stop
Can
it.
anybody else take the bucket and go underwater?
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah, I'd like to raise my hand and gesture towards.
The paladin
Penny.
raises his hand, looking very,
This is
very
sword
pitiful
man.
with his mud and stuff, and he says,
I'm
can anybody
very
take the
hungover.
bucket?
Can I take the bucket, yo?
I would love it if each of you would try. Says
Yeah.
Eyes.
Him!
Just real quick, Arabia, you
Fellowin.
use the bucket for going underwater, not for vomiting it, right?
No, I would like to vomit it first, then dump it out, wash it out, and
Okay,
then
but
let
I say-
everybody else go out.
Him!
I say you just go last.
Fellowin!
You do you, babe, but you go last.
Okay, did anybody hear
Him.
what Penny just said?
Fellowin!
No.
So
That one?
Fellowin!
No,
Eyes and Linky's eyes get very large.
Can we
See,
can we
it's
roll
proof. It's proof. It's proof. You can read it.
Can we roll a wisdom check to understand what that means?
Well, you guys actually don't need to do that. You've heard the name.
We know Fellowin is.
You've heard the name Fellowin, because Eyes mentioned it to you guys yesterday when you first got there. He talked about how they were looking for more information about Fellowin because she was a goddess that could maybe fight the mages, or her power or her magic or something about her might give them a leg up in fighting the alchemages.
We've been very young since then.
Yeah.
So
So
so they have mentioned it several times.
I would like to go down into I would like to take the bucket and then go down and see
You're
what
last.
Ramiel. I mean, I was just kidding about vomiting in the bucket. All right, I'm not really gonna vomit it.
My dude, I know how much you drank last night.
All right, fine. I'm
Go
gonna hand the bucket over. Hand the bucket over. I'm gonna hand it over to Orkelia.
Thanks. Who wants? I mean, I feel like we saw all the things, but like, maybe we didn't.
If one word out of potentially dozens, who knows?
Him.
So
Fellowin.
Fellowin.
And there were
Fellowin isn't a boy.
We need more than that.
musical notes.
It's
But
not-
here, Darkness,
not-
why don't you go down there and see if you see something else?
All right. So Orkelia hands you the bucket, Altana.
All right. It's 8 feet down there, right? This door, right?
Well, it's only another 3 feet from where you saw that you could still see the top of their heads just fine.
Right.
It's probably 8 feet deep altogether.
I'm just thinking I don't need the bucket. I'm a really good swimmer. I could just go look and hold my breath. Or Kalia held her breath that whole time, right?
Well, the bucket is it's like goggles. Like you go underwater and you can see what the words are as opposed to like just seeing with your eyes, which didn't work very well.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll take the bucket. I'll go.
Okay. Altana, you put the bucket on and take a deep breath and dive in or jump in.
Take a deep breath and I go down.
Okay. You fall down only about 3 feet. Boom. You hit the bottom, you turn and you look, and sure enough, there is a doorway, or what looks like a doorway with runes on it. The stone is old and a little pitted and stuff. The language is one that you absolutely don't understand. But there are other things on it and decorations and stuff around it. Roll me a perception check.
Yeah, that's 18. I just died. My battery just died. I think my perception's 6, right? Plus 6, 18 plus 6 is 24.
All right.
No, that's not good math. What is that?
18 plus 6? Yeah, it's 24.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah. You see that the sides of the doorway are very intricately carved, and that there seems to be things like words that go all the way around the arch of the doorway, of course, across the panel. There is in the center of the doorway what looks like a peephole, almost like some people would look out from.
And so can I swim up to that and look with the bucket goggles?
You absolutely can.
Please.
You look in the peephole and you realize that it's not a peephole. It's like a little piece of pipe or something that's sticking out.
Piece of pipe that's sticking out. So can I see through it? Can I see through the pipe like a peephole?
You look through it and whatever's on the other side is very dark.
Okay. Can I, so I try to pull on it and see if it's a lever.
Okay, roll me a strength check.
Okay. Oh, that's a 9. No, and my strength is like 1, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 10 or 11 is probably what that is.
Yeah, it's whatever it is. It's clear that it's been
moving. Okay.
There for a long time and it doesn't move. Yeah.
Can I see any way to open the door?
No, there's no handles on it. There's just the runes and stuff.
What makes it look like a door?
The fact that it's a flat plane that's been inset into the arch.
Okay. And this pipe peephole thing makes me sense there's something in there that I can't quite see.
Okay, roll me a swimming check.
Okay. Ooh, I should.
The acrobatics.
Athletics, 15.
I think that's athletics.
Sorry, my battery died on my. Can you see my character page?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay, so I'm a 15 plus whatever.
Okay, and this would be an athletics check if it's swimming.
17.
So that would be +2.
Okay, 17. Thank you.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, and what were you trying to figure out? I'm sorry.
Well, I was I think I was trying to see, what else I can see beside it being a door, and if there's a way to open it, I think.
Okay. Well, your 17 is giving you a little bit more time. You're able to hold your breath pretty decent. You're able to keep yourself down enough to, even with the bucket on your head, which you have to hold with one hand.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really see a lot else. Down at the base of the door, there's a lot of silt and muck that has washed up against it. And you can see that the water does seem to be having a little current that eddies around the edges of the door, like it's going inside.
Okay, so I'm going to try to brush away that silt.
Okay.
And see if I can expose the edges of the door and a way that goes through.
Okay. You expose the bottom of the door, and it's the same as the sides. There is no clear indicator of how to get through. Mm-hmm. You can see out a little ways where the muck has been like dug into, probably from Georgia Linky, because it hasn't filled in with the swamp water yet, or with the mud brought by the swamp water yet. Like they were trying to clear the lintel. And so what you've done has finished that job. Uh-huh. And what you see is that there's no pressure plates. There's no like firm things on there that you would press or touch or whatever to make it open.
Uh-huh. I want to go back to the thing that seems like half peephole, half pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I already pushed on it. I already tried to look through it. Can I take my helmet off and with whatever breath I have left, try to give a little through it?
You can. Now you're in the water, so it's
not a lot. It's whatever breath I'm still holding.
Okay, you can actually push breath through it.
Just a tiny bit. Put the helmet back on. And what happens?
And it just nothing happens.
Uh-huh.
But you did manage to push a breath through it. So whatever it is hollow all the way through.
Okay. So and that was probably the last of my breath. So I'm probably
just about, yeah,
going back up. And so I get to the top and I take off the helmet and I say, it is definitely a door. And I cannot see how to open it, but let someone else's turn. Someone else try.
Okay.
So Cross puts out his hand for the bucket.
Okay. Altana, Cross put out his hand for the bucket. You give it to him?
I give him the bucket.
All right.
He puts the bucket on and goes down.
Okay. You see the same thing. It's only you go down about 3 feet. And you turn and look, and there's that door. The water around the base of the door is a little murky right now, as the mud and the silt's been brushed away and has gone into the water. But the rest of the door is exactly what everybody else saw. What do you do?
Can I make an investigation check?
Absolutely.
Thank
you. Yes! Yes!
Oh, is this you finally got your natural 20 for the day?
I got it. Yeah.
All right.
That's a 29.
Woo!
Everyone,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. So 29. What you see is that there's no mechanism that you can see on this side. There's no traps. You don't see any traps at all as you're looking, and you're really sure that you would have. You don't see you don't get that prickle of like magic, but what you do see is there's a little what looks like a pipe that's like sunk in the middle of the door. It's clearly hollow, and you can see that there's a little bit of edging around it, like it's not fully affixed.
What do you mean by it's not fully affixed?
Like it's
to
not
be
part of the
pulled
door.
out?
Yeah.
So I attempt to pull it. So it looks like it might come out
Mm-hmm.
from the investigation. All right, I'm going to attempt to pull it out.
All right, roll me a strength check.
14 plus 3, 17.
Okay. You can't get it all the way out, but you got it to move. And you get the feeling that if you worked at it for a little bit longer, you could probably get it out.
Do I have the time to sit there and work at it, or is it?
Well, you've only been down there for about, depending on how long your investigation took. So yeah, you've been probably down there about a minute.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
If you're down there for much longer, you're going to have to, there was some
Yeah.
air in the bucket.
He's gonna go back up.
Okay.
And do I know for a fact who the strongest person is here?
You have suspects, you have suspicions, but you don't know. Nobody's done a strength check yet.
I mean, me and Cross haven't exactly like arm wrestled yet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Have you broken the surface yet?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I thought you died. I can't hold my breath that long. That's insane.
So he kind of looks at you just like he thought more of you until that moment.
Who here can hold their breath for like 3 minutes? That's insanity.
Whatever. Looks at Ramiel and
You look at his muscles.
Kind of just like grabs him, like puts his hands on his shoulder, and he's just like, "There's a pipe. Pull it out." Puts the helmet on his head and kind of turns him around and pushes him towards the direction of the water.
Okay, Ramiel, do you think to hold
Yeah.
your breath before you go under?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. You go down, and you know that because
Oh god.
you have a pretty decent survival skill, that there's air in the bucket. That's why they did that. So you
Right.
can hold your breath a certain amount of time, then you've got that little bit of air in the bucket, but then that's it. So you go down about 3 feet, you see the door. You see that in the center of the door, it's a lot more apparent now, so you don't really need to roll a perception check to see it, is something that looks like a little pipe that's been pulled just a very little ways out of the door.
Yeah. Then I was instructed also. I'm still like pretty hungover, but I'm still very good at holding my breath because my athletics is +10. But I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna place my 2 feet on either side of the pipe, grab the pipe in the middle, and force my entire body weight, like my every bit of strength that I have, to
Okay,
pull this pipe out.
roll me a strength check.
13 plus 8, I got 21 total.
Okay. You do. You push and it comes. There's resistance, but then when it lets go fast, you actually go shooting backwards a little ways into the swamp. And I assume you kick your way to the surface.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exuding an enormous breath of air as I hit the surface.
Yep. Okay, so Ramiel hits the surface. You guys all see this. It's a little. He got shot back from the door a little ways, which was like, and then he surfaced and he held the pipe up as he took his nice deep breath of air.
Proudly.
Ramiel, do you look at the pipe?
Oh, well, absolutely. I would like to. Can I do an investigation to see if the pipe has relevance?
It's actually
Or,
pretty clear. It's exactly what it is.
yeah.
Little
There's
clap.
no. It's a very simply made, very plain um, penny whistle.
Yep.
Oh.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
while
use the pipe.
while he was down there and while the others were down there, as soon as I came up, I started drawing out in the sand the notes
The bar. Okay.
I could remember seeing. So that's all prepped and ready to
Perfect.
go.
So
Okay.
do I understand? So do I understand music? Can I look down and understand that this is music, and I have the penny whistle and to hand it? Do I understand to hand it to Arkelia?
Do you have
Who clearly
performance as a trained skill?
my performance is actually my performance is bad.
But is it trained? Do you have a black dot on it? Are you proficient?
I do not know.
Okay,
Persuasion, athletics, sure, not performance.
then you might have some idea that, if you've
Yeah.
seen sheet music before or whatever, but not any idea what those notes are or anything about that.
He was asking if he recognized that the instrument in his hand was an instrument.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, or how to understand how to play it, because like if my performance
You
is
have
+7,
absolutely no. You do not understand how to play it because you're not
Also,
proficient.
know that the
You can still try.
or can I understand that the notes in the sand are Orkelia understanding as a bard?
But you're
So,
out in the
how
water, so
playing-
you don't see the notes
handing
yet.
the instrument over to the person constantly carrying a bunch of
Yeah.
instruments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
He
Okay,
just
so
pulls
you
it out of
swim-
the water like it's a flute. It's a flute. It's a flute.
Well, we know what this is.
He's like,
And,
I know what it is. I know what it is, guys.
Bidoof and Lanky are both looking very surprised. And they're like, "Did you think of that? I didn't think of that. I didn't. I thought for sure it was just a portal for looking out of. Well, it's clearly not that and stuff. Do you know anything about music? I don't know anything about music. So that's what's going on in front of you guys there. Aramiel, you come back to shore. Okay.
with the flute. All right,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna
you
come
have
back with the flute of destiny,
Yeah, very simple flute.
of
and I would
death.
like to present it as like a victory thing. Because also, I just witnessed like 3 people go into the water and not come up with anything. So I just came up with this. So I'd like to like a little
Rub it in their
proudly,
faces.
yeah, like I'm a little hungover, but like I'm also like the strongest in the crew, like accidentally. So like I would like to like then present this, like kind of like rubbing my head on one side, like why couldn't any of you guys get this? I was really trying to sleep.
In
I
the
was trying to
entirety of this episode, we don't have a leader. Who is the strongest of us? And I guess I'll play the musical instrument. What the fuck is wrong with all of you?
So do you hand it to Arkelia? Is that who you present it to?
So I'm like rubbing, and I like look down at the notes on the sand, and like hung over, like blocking, like with the flute, blocking the sunlight from my eyes to make sure it doesn't hit me. And I'm like hand it over to Orkelia, like please, just please.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
That's it.
I got this.
Cross pats him on the shoulder, and he's just like with his whole like, why couldn't you guys do this? And he's just like,
I would just
congratulations,
love
you can follow directions, my friend.
I would just love to like dodge, cross his pat on the shoulder, and just like even though I'm like
Okay.
rubbing my head, just like
Well-
absolutely dodge.
Their sexual tension is
Musical
growing.
notes written in the sand.
Yeah. Okay, so Arkelia, you have a flute. You have notes written in the sand. What do you do?
I play it.
All right, you play it, and nothing happens.
Don't worry, guys. I got this.
But the song, it's actually the notes. It's a string of 8 notes that you manage to see and write down. You're not sure what order they're supposed to go in or anything. But there's a string of 8 notes.
It wasn't like full sheet music.
There was a bar. You're right. There was a bar, and there was like a shooting, but it's like a piece of a song, but not one you've ever heard. But yeah,
Do I
nothing
recognize
happens when
it?
you play it this time. But you guys do hear the sounds The flute, the sounds are clear, and it's been under the water for God knows how long, maybe 500 years. It's not crusted with anything. It should be. It should be crusted with salt. It should be crusted with barnacles, but it's not. It's black, some sort of clear black, just straight black metal that has not been aged at all in all of
It's
that
a
time.
magic flute.
Okay.
Do I recognize this?
My dragons.
Mm-hmm. Do you recognize what, Sean?
When she's playing it, do I recognize the song?
It seems familiar. You're not sure why, but it seems familiar.
Can
I
I?
got an idea.
And then
And I want to walk into the water, take like a deep breath,
Mm-hmm.
get, like close-ish to the
To the door?
yeah, and then it's a magic flute, so I guess I'm gonna try to play a flute underwater.
All right. Roll me a performance check. DC 15.
Well, it's a 14 on the die.
All right.
And my performance would make that a 21.
And you feel like this was so easy. You're still underwater. You still couldn't breathe, but you were able to put it out. You can't hear any music coming out of it, but the door does indeed begin to open, and the water begins pouring into it. Roll me a dexterity check.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
So many nines today. It's like my third 9. My dexterity is gonna give me an 11.
All right. You are sucked in with the water into the doorway. Whoa, you lose your footing. You struggle to hang on to the pipe, which you do. But because you're hanging onto the pipe, you do not hang on to your feet, and you are sucked into the doorway, and that's where we're ending the game today.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bye, guys.
so
So
my
that's
question
the-
that we start with next
You would
week,
scream, except that you would get water.
we're all in the water up to about our chests doing this. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
we're probably sucked too.
Yeah, so she just went down like another 5 feet, so another
Yeah.
2 feet, and then another 3 feet.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And all of that water is going in with her.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And that's
That was gonna be one of my
that's the last.
many questions at the beginning, but I figured, oh, we'll get there.
Uh-huh.
We got there.
You got there.
Yep.
You got there. Oh, also, this is getting to this doorway is a milestone where you all level.
Woo!
So after today you are level 5.
Yep.
Woo, woo.
Right.
And we will say to whatever audience we have, thank you, and watch
Thank
for our
you.
YouTube of this.
Thanks, guys.
And next week they go into the underground.
As
So
long as I don't.
dun dun dun.
The
So
We
dark.
have to save or kill you.
I make no guarantees.
It's so cool that Cross is now the leader. I mean, like, we needed one.
Whoa.
Secretly, what you guys don't understand is that
Is
secretly
not quite as
I'm the
evil.
leader.
I agree with 0% is that. Why is everybody else at full health except for me?
Mhm.
Donna, did you stop the thing?
Not yet, no. I was letting it, people want to see the banter. Come on.
All right, so this is where we have to end it all on, right? Is everybody
Right across. Just directly across.
Yeah.
Get himself off.